Hello everyone. Welcome to the Light and Dark Working Together Masterclass. We're waiting just a little bit, a few more minutes for people to hop on. I'm so excited about this. Yay, yay, yay. Hello, hello Christy, hello Neeltje, Ivo and Ellen. Slowly gonna start, maybe some more people are going to hop on. Super welcome, I'm so excited about this. I've been wanting to having this masterclass or conversation for a long time now. Yeah, the things that we are going through in our lives, it's, you know, and in the world, what's happening in the world right now is so polarizing, right? And in spirituality, there are so many different beliefs and so many different philosophies of darkness and light, and how to, you know, use them to manifest the things that we desire. And, you know, there are so many beliefs about right and wrong and heaven and hell and all this whole polarity thinking. So I wanted to, you know, get a little bit more clear on this topic. And for today, it's also, I might ask some questions. And if you want to answer these questions, you can either say it in the chat, or you can either unmute yourself and or like raise your hand, and then I can tell you to unmute yourself and you can say something if you want. You don't have to, you can also just write it in the chat. It all depends on how you want to this experience to be. And this is also an experience. So also just, you know, lekker be in your body and feel through the experience and have some fun. Ask questions if you have them. And maybe, yeah, if you want to add, like maybe I'm going to ask some questions to, if you want to share some of your experiences as well on this topic. So that's how we're going to do it. And then at the end, I'll also, this is a free masterclass and I'm not going to sell you a course, but I am going to share with you how you can work with me if you like want to, but that's just because of if you're interested to work with me. So I've got my little things right here. So I wanted to start with, saying, like, explaining like what do I see as light and what do I see as dark, so that we know what we're talking about here. So what is light? Light, according to me, light is love, higher frequencies, the energy of the sun. It's love, it's joy, it's grace. These are very high frequencies that we really, expand into when we are on our spiritual journey, and that also expands the universe. It's like the universe is never ending expanding, which is because we are the universe. It's our consciousness that expands, which is also the universe expanding. And it's the love and the light and the joy and the higher frequencies that brings that expansion. And what is dark? So dark to me is like, can be like separated into two different areas. One of them is the like lower frequencies, shame, guilt, and grief, but also dark beliefs that are connected to these emotions, darkness that comes from wounds. And then, as you can see, there's this polarity between like the light, the higher frequencies, and the dark, which are the lower frequencies. But then in dark, you also have the dark of the womb and the emptiness from which creation comes to fruition. So it is this is dark as well. It's like, if we have a seed from a flower or from a plant and it goes into the ground, into the soil, then it needs this seed needs darkness for the seed to start becoming a beautiful flower, right? So that all the programs is in the DNA of the seed. And in order for the flower to be blooming and for it to grow, we need the darkness in the soil for it to work. And so this is often very misunderstood if we don't understand it. When we are in our spiritual process and we go through a dark night of the soul, so to speak, you probably are familiar with it. One of my teachers says it's not the dark night of the soul, but it's actually the dark night of the ego, because the soul doesn't really get dark. It's the ego that gets dark. It's like the shadow archetypes that get dark. And then we kind of like, we are in a process of from a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. We're shifting identity. It's like, ego death, you're shifting identity. And in this process, we are actually like the seed going into the soil, becoming like this new flower, or like the caterpillar that goes into its cocoon where it's dark for it in order to become a butterfly. So those are the two different aspects of darkness that I also both want to talk and discuss about today. Oh yeah, and then from that dark and the light, we actually have like this polarity, right? It's polarity. So one of the 7 principles of creation, or which is it called, the laws of the hermetic laws from Hermes Trismegistus. You've one of the laws is polarity. And polarities is like, okay, so you have light and you have dark, you have wet, you have dry, you have hot and you have cold. And then when we actually look into this polarity, we see that polarity is actually something and the absence of something. So, and in this concept, darkness is actually the absence of light. So you have light and you have not light, and then we call that darkness. So if you have a room and there's a light switch and you want to light up the room, you press the light switch and then the light bulb goes on and you light up the room. But there's not a switch that says dark, a switch that lights up the dark, or it's like, you know, you switch off the light for the room to get dark, but there's not a button to get your room dark. So it's light and the absence of light, really. And from there, I also want to share a little bit more on from this polarity. If we go to the love frequencies, which I know some of you here are also healers, so you probably are familiar with frequencies and the polarity in frequencies, like higher frequencies and lower frequencies, and that the frequency has, like, the lower frequency is just like the wavelength is longer. So you have less polarity in the wave of the frequency, and a higher frequency is the wavelength is shorter. So you have more movement, and that's why also there's with light more expansion. But the beautiful thing is that these two polarities, they actually work together for creation to exist. But before I go into my whole like rant about this, I just wanted to make sure if everyone is still following here and how you're doing. So let me know if you're following or if you have any questions. Because I know I sometimes can go like blah, 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 blah. No questions. All right. Follow. Thank you, Christy. Thank you. Yes, following. Yay. Okay. And then from here, I wanted to share one. I'm not sure if you are familiar with the scale of Hawkins, but I'll share it just a little bit. This is the scale of Hawkins. That is like someone who just gave a number in between the frequencies of our emotions. So shame and guilt are like at the bottom. And then enlightenment and peace and joy and love are on the higher frequencies. And so from this, we can actually see like where we are on the scale. So I want you to, if you look at this picture, to just notice on which word, which number your attention goes to the most. Like which frequency are you on right now? You can just, you know, trust your intuition that whatever number and name your eye gets attracted to is the frequency you're on now. So I'm now like my intuition says I'm at joy 540 because I'm I'm like, yay, I'm doing this masterclass. Yay. So where are you at? Reason and joy, reason. Cool. Yeah. All right. So from this scale, we also see with the law of attraction what we attract into our lives, like, because our frequency that we hold is going to be reflected back also into the world. Joy, says Ellen. Yay. And from this law of attraction, we can, manifest the things that we want. And from this law, which is like, there are many more laws, but this is one law of creation. We kind of got into like this toxic positivity, right? I'm sure you've all heard of this, that people are like, oh, law of attraction, I have to like stay in the high vibrations, and then I'll attract all the money and the love and all the good things, and I'm like happy and yay. And so I want to keep my vibration high so that I can manifest all the things that I want. And then the pitfall of that is that we get into toxic positivity, which means that we actually ignore these lower frequencies that are also in our system, and we ignore also our triggers. And because a trigger, when we get triggered in our lives from, someone does something, you get triggered, you get irritated or angry, and then it's like, oh no, that's not spiritual. I have to be in a higher vibration. Like, who do you know what I mean? Like, have you ever gone through this phase like I did? Completely, like, totally went like, oh no, I have to keep an high frequency and then everything will be fine. And I was like ignoring all my triggers, ignoring all my pain, ignoring all my wounds. And then I actually, manifested like this huge darkness, because what happens when we stay in this toxic positivity and these higher frequencies all the time is that the overall wave of our lives between light and dark is going to be way longer. Because what I find so beautiful about life is that this polarity of light and unlight, or light and darkness, they actually work together for creation to exist. Because without the darkness, without the wounds also in our system, and that causes these lower frequencies, there is no manifestation happening. There's no energy in movement. And so what I'm so passionate about is that I really love to, share this in a way also to compare it to a battery that has a plus and a minus. So if you have a light bulb that you want to light up, and you have your wire, one wire goes to the plus and one wire goes to the minus, you need both for the electricity to move like that, because the electricity is actually really like the electrons of the atoms that move from atom to atom, and you only have that movement of the energy when the plus and the minus are both connected. And this way we see like, whoa, we need the darkness to create, like to create something. It's a law of creation. Christy says, avoiding all emotions cuts us off from self. Yes, exactly. It's completely like hovering above certain wounds that we have in our system, which sometimes, sometimes we're not ready yet to feel through certain wounds, and so it's also a protection mechanism, right? And so sometimes it serves us somewhere, but if we get stuck into it, it can be really it creates a dark, deep loop of a dark, deep downwards spiral with the frequency of the wave from the plus and the minus, going from the plus into the minus, gets very long. And then what happens in your life is that you have like super high peaks of super like, wow, life is amazing and beautiful and wow. And then it's like, and it's like totally like depressed and life sucks, and you're getting into like these really low frequencies. And the trick, what you want to do if you don't want that roller coaster anymore, because such a roller coaster is just not sustainable, right? It's fucking exhausting. So what we want to do is we want to actually to create a more of a wave that goes more like that instead of going like that. And that's if toxic positivity gets us there. But drowning in our shadow and saying like, okay, so fuck, this toxic positivity just fucked up my whole life. Now I have to, look at my wounds, do the shadow work and do other things. And then we're creating these beliefs of, I have to, find all the wounds and heal them. And then we can actually get really stuck into these lower frequencies. And then we can get really exhausted too, and we can get really depressed, and then life is really, really hard. So if we want to get more like this instead of this, what you want to practice is to keep your vibration high, but whenever you get triggered, whenever something shows up, you immediately go and look at it. And then from there, you give yourself a little bit of time to be in the victim, feeling all the pain and all the things. And then eventually say like, okay, good enough. Now I'm now going back to the higher frequencies. And that's mastery, to get that into balance. And then the more you practice that, the better you get at it. And then your life gets more like that. And it's not then that your life, is like how they would, if you would take like medicine to like pills to if people have like this, then sometimes they get medication, right, to make it like that. It's not the same. It's not the same, because this is, you're still in a high, like you still feel all the emotions, you're still like really open your heart and feel everything, so that you can really feel the things, but you just get better at integrating the wounds and the triggers faster as you practice, so that it's not like that, but it's more like that. Any questions about this? Or maybe if someone has something to share about something that like they've experienced. So for example, I was really in my toxic positivity years ago, and then I kind of like met like my twin flame, and he turned out to be a psychopath, and I almost got killed, and I was like totally avoiding the truth of what was happening with the relationship I had, because I didn't want to see it. I couldn't see it because I was, only being here. So I fell from here completely to down, and I had to, I went and stayed in that dark space for years, which is also my transformation from, the person that I was to become the person that I'm now, as the caterpillar that turns into a butterfly. So eventually I saw that it was all part of, my blueprint, and also it contained all these initiations for me for the work that I do as an energy surgeon. But I got like, so because that happened, I got really scared of being in my higher frequencies. I was scared of being in my higher frequencies because I thought I gained these beliefs from that experience that if I'm in higher frequencies, then I can fall down again, right? And I thought that was really, really scary. so I kind of like created all these beliefs that kept me really like here in and then I stayed here for very long, which was part of also necessary, part of also like that now I'm you know, I'm seeing like, oh wow, I was having all these beliefs also because I was actually traumatized from that fall. And so I went through all these processes to integrate that, and from there get more into the here and now. And from being in the here and now, you can become aware of the triggers, because that's the thing. You become aware of the triggers, you become aware of the judgments, and then you can eventually also, if you're familiar with having spirit guides or with angels, you can just, you know, ask your spirit guide saying like, okay, well, I see this trigger here. I see this wound here. I'm asking for help to integrate and heal this wound, and then let go of it. And then you ask, and with that you manifest, actually, you set that in motion. And then you just wait, you let it go. And then eventually you see like that the right people came on your path to help you with that. And then suddenly it's healed or it's integrated. And so you don't have to like go all the way like here to become aware of the wounds and the triggers, because the more you do this work, the better you are in being in the here and now. And the more you can be in the present time, the better you can see the triggers and the things. And then you ask for help from your spirit guides, and then you get the help, and then it shifts faster and faster and faster. And that's how you get more like that. And then you can see that the darkness is actually, so these lower frequencies are actually the things that you need to learn that helps you to the desires that you have. And that's why I love it so much. And then you see like, wow, this is just working together so beautifully. I need to learn these lessons. I need to go into the lower frequencies, and because of the triggers and the things, and to see also what's happening there, bring light there, learn these lessons, and then you grow and evolve into the desires that you have. Because the desires that we have, that our sacred soul blueprint that we have, is so connected to the wounds that we have, and our sacred wounds that we gained in the first 7 years of our life, which are also super connected to our past lives and or our ancestors' wounds. They've been given, you know, they give the ancestors and their trauma and their wounds have been given to the generation, to over generation. Neeltje says, I have been through an ego death in the last few years. It took me some time to get over the shock, and I'm slowly getting my trust back. Yeah, beautiful, Neeltje. Yeah, it can be so difficult when we go through an ego death. Yeah, I'm happy that you're slowly getting back. And what I want to say to you is, take your time. Don't rush. It takes time. It doesn't help also to pull on the flower if we want the flower to grow faster. It's not working, right? And it takes time to develop into a butterfly. It is so worth it. It is so worth it. And I can totally also want to say that if you look on YouTube on a video of how a caterpillar turns into the butterfly, like there are videos on YouTube where they placed a camera in the cocoon to see how actually this process works. And wow, like, whoa, it's so magical. It's insane. And then you can also see, if you look at that and you watch what process of that movie triggers you the most, or you feel the most emotion towards, you can also see where on the process you are. So that's maybe good to also see from, oh wow, I have still some time more to go. So to be really patient with myself and trust the process, that you're eventually growing into this new beautiful butterfly or flower that's going to bloom so beautifully, and you're going to be so aligned with your desires, because your desires are coming from the wounds that are in our system. And from these wounds, and this is also the minus and the plus, that is, from our wounds we get the desires. So if I have a wound of feeling locked up or trapped, I get the desire to become free. If I have a wound of scarcity, I get a desire to become abundant. And from that desire, we set the creation in motion. So it's really like these wounds are needed to get to our desires. And that's why I also say, like, our wounds are so sacred. Our wounds are like super holy. And the more we also understand and shift our perspective of the sacredness and the holiness of our wounds, then it gets so much easier to trust that process as well, and really embrace this pain and the wounds that you feel when you are in that process of that darkness. And with that, we heal. Because as long as we fight, if we say, like, I want this wound to be healed, I want it to be integrated, is it still there? Then we will always fight with ourselves. We will always fight with our wounds. And the more we really understand and really feel how sacred our pain and our wounds are, the more we actually, it's such a different approach, right? It's such a different approach, and it gives so much more space for actual healing, and actually embracing and embodying these wounds in us, so that we become more whole. And then from these wounds, we get our gifts, not only our desires, but also certain gifts. As many of you here are healers, we all have like this one big sacred wound that is a portal to our spiritual gifts that we have as a healer. And how beautiful is it that, right? How beautiful that these wounds just, wow, create so much light, that from the darkness we can create so much light. It's insane. And from there, I also want to ask you guys if you are familiar with the wounded healer archetype. Have you heard of it? Yeah, Christy says yes. Ivo says yes. Yeah. Neeltje also. Okay, amazing. Yeah. So the wounded healer is it tries to heal itself from the wound, and because it's trying to heal itself, it's collects all these different medicines and all these different tools to heal others with. And often the wounded healer can't heal himself with it. It's very connected to Chiron, the half god, half horse, half man, Greek mythological creature. Chiron is also in our astrological. It's not a planet, but it's an asteroid that's in our solar system. That's called Chiron, and Chiron is to the Greek mythology is like a centaur, half man, half horse, and there's this myth where he gets shot in his leg with a an arrow by Hercules by accident, and then so he gets wounded. Ah, Christy went just through Chiron return. Oh, wow. Yeah. Powerful. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Whew. And then, so Chiron is like wounded and he tries to heal himself, but he can't. And then eventually he's like, okay, fuck this. I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to be immortal anymore. Let me, die and live in hell and fuck this. And then because he just, decides like, okay, never mind. I can't do this anymore. I'm exhausted. I'm giving up. That's when he actually heals. That's when he gets back and is healed. So, and that's all has to do with understanding how sacred your wound is, and that you actually integrate this wound and not, because healing sometimes we can think about healing as like wanting to get rid of it, but it's actually like embracing and integrating it and saying like this wound is part of me. This wound is part of my healer archetype. This wound is part of my gift. This wound is the portal of my gift. And therefore I am completely embrace that this is part of me. And then we stop fighting with it. We stop, having this inner fight. And that's actually when we get the inner peace that we're looking for. And just accept that whenever the pain comes up, we accept like, okay, yeah, let's just, embrace this process. But then the pitfall of that is also when we hang on to our wounds, hang on to our darkness, because we're getting so familiar with it after a while. When we do all this work, we get familiar with it. And then sometimes we can also, we actually already integrated it, but we still hang on to it, right? And then it's like, why am I not manifesting the things that I want? Like, I know all these things, like, and I've integrated and I've felt it already, and I know it, but still I can't, really step into the light and really now serve the people with the gifts that I developed from these wounds, because we're still hanging on to them. And sometimes there are just layers that we're done with integrating them, so that we can actually, release old stuff and let it go, and then step into the light and be free from these layers. And then eventually, of course, we will get the next layer, and then we integrate that again. But if we don't let go of the layer that we're in, we stay stuck there as well. So, and this is, Eva says, the problem there is identification and not learning a new pattern. Identification and not learning a new pattern. Eva, can you, if you want to, you can unmute yourself and say something more about this so I can understand you better.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about. What I've learned, what I'm seeing is that a lot of people, because they've been working from their wounds for so long, they've kind of identified themselves with the wounds, which is obvious because that's where you've always been responding from and working from. And then the hard part is to learn a new pattern, which sets you free from the identification from that wound. And that's the part, like what you said before, you can't always do your own healing or be your own surgeon, because other people, you need to learn stuff from other people every now and then. Not everything is always there, from the energetic realm or the realm of the guides or the ancestors. Sometimes you really have to learn it from other people, be in touch with their, energy, and learn from their wounds, even if necessary. So kind of just to elaborate and share a little bit of my experience in that part.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and also because why otherwise would we all have all these amazing gifts, right?
Yeah, exactly. We have to exchange and learn from each other. That's our nature.
Yeah, exactly. And that's and I love that, because that it really shows us how we are all under contract to really, you know, start working together and rising together.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, so beautiful. Yeah, and then so you get all these beliefs and these neural pathways from healing these wounds, and then if you want to, you know, let go of that, you actually need new beliefs and new neural pathways that are different from that where you're in. And that's where also what my work as an energy surgeon comes in, because what I do is I clear energy on a multidimensional level. So the gift that I was initiated in was that my arms started to transform into like energetic tools, like robotic arms, and then I found out I can do energy surgery with it. So I can like very precisely can clear and manipulate energy in like multidimensional levels of realms. And what that does is it clears actually away the old, like the beliefs and the karma of the things that you actually already integrated, but you're still like holding on to that. And everything that is ready to be released clears up, and you're getting aligned again with your sacred soul blueprint. So from there you create, actually, because beliefs are also frequencies, right? I mean, I'm not sure, Ivo, you are a music healer, right? Have you
Yes.
ever experienced if your music healing has an effect on people's beliefs as well?
Yeah, a lot. I think that exactly that actually attached or connects to what I just said. That I feel that a certain part of the work that I do, um, uh, it's very interesting to see that I attract a lot of people at the moment that are dealing with like severe sexual traumas, and it most of the time has to do with the perception of the divine masculine. I think I work really hard to balance out my own divine masculine and feminine energies, and I think I'm at a point that I can kind of take away certain beliefs that people have with regard to the perception of the divine masculine. So when I work with them, I really work from like lower region. I use my voice to do the healing most of the time. I go from very low, deep, dark tones to very high, like angelic tones, and people kind of get to see that it's just all one thing. You know, there's actually, it's a scale of things. It's duality of things that you can witness, and you can actually tell, people can hear and tell where it actually just morphs from the one into the other. It's just one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So
cool.
That takes away their belief system when it comes to perceiving, you know, the duality of our divine feminine and masculine parts.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's amazing. Yeah. And what I also found an interesting question is, because I was, you know, coming across all these questions with my work as well, like, you know, so sometimes sometimes we need to integrate the wounds and the things, and then sometimes we need to let go of it, right? And that's such an intuitive a process of knowing what you need in certain phases of your life, and the beliefs that also come with that. Because if you are in the phase of integrating your wounds, you need different beliefs than when you're in the phase of letting go of it. Because if you still have a belief of, oh, I need to integrate my wounds, or I'm not good enough, for example, then that belief will keep you there. So it's a very interesting that's what I found lately as well in my system, like, oh, whoa, I still have like these beliefs that says I'm only a good person if I, do all the shadow work. And I totally don't enjoy my life at all. Well, that's not very, very handy at the moment. It was when I went through that process. Let me see what else I want to share. Oh, yeah. So from this, we are in, it's high and low frequencies. It's very polarity thinking, which is true. But another pitfall that we can have is that we get into this either or consciousness of it's either high frequency or low frequency, or it's either good or bad. This belief is good or this belief is bad, or this energy is positive, this energy is negative, which is just, also true. But then overall, we also, if we want to see it holistically, right, we also see that this polarity is actually also both ends. And so another pitfall is to get into the either or thinking in everything. And we also want to make sure that within the either or, within the polarity, there's also both end consciousness. And from this both end consciousness, it's like I also feel I have a high frequency, or I'm happy about this, but at the same time something happened, like, for example, you win the lottery and your father dies at the same day. I'm just giving like a very crazy example, but then you're holding like this polarity at the same time, right? So it's like both ends. If you instead of only going here or only there, and then we actually have to integrate both energies and frequencies in ourselves and holding space for both polarities within. And so important to really keep on thinking about the both end consciousness, because it's the whole society and everything is so based on either or consciousness. It's Putin is the bad guy and Ukraine are the good guys, and it's like polarity in there, or it's like it's either Corona is a conspiracy or it is not, instead of like, well, maybe it could be both, maybe it could be both, and that maybe there are more layers of truth, and then we don't have to say like, oh, I'm a wappie in Dutch or I'm like a conspiracy theorist, or I'm like, I love the government and they're so good, like, and we're getting all this division and all this polarity in our society and with each other, and we start fighting with each other over these two poles of polarity, while it's both ends. It's also both ends, and it's not either or. It's like there are so many layers of truth, and so important to not forget that within our healing journey as well. Yeah, if anyone wants to share something about an experience in there as well, if you or if you have an example where you've experienced this as well, if you want to share something, feel free to share something.
I just on, I don't know, 2 days ago, I was on a group training that I was invited to speak, and as an energy surgeon myself, I open the gates, and we're doing this major thing for bringing in the consciousness for humanity to eliminate that polarity, and the divine, the whole 12 tribes of creation showed up for us. And
oh, cool.
The message that come through was that if we don't do and/or, we get brand new chakras, and a throat chakra has been coming in that's not just one color. It's like the musical scale chakra, to be able to communicate multidimensional.
Oh.
And same time, like, because I don't know if you guys are experienced in the journey of, I go to the altar, I meditate, I communicate with my guides, and then, oh, thank you. And then I got to go out and go do the work by myself. And like that full integration, they said, no, those of us that, open ourselves to lay aside and let go of the polarity, we can integrate these new chakras that allow us to be multi-dimensional avatar moving in creation. So I was like, wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Wow. Yeah. This time
Right here, being here together in conscious unity, we share our light and we share our, our activation just by showing up. I'm noticing me just showing up and speaking, everything, just what I have to offer, just automatically, mirror neuron the other people.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Yeah, really cool. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And it's, this time we're in is just so, sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful that I'm on this planet right now, because what we're seeing happening in this time, it's fucking insane. It's wow. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. And also it's because of that, it's like, oh, whoa, wait, like the system of the chakras and the things that I know and the laws of creation, it's like, oh wait, now we know this, and then everything shifts again, and like, whoa, I need new beliefs. And it's like so I think also energy surgeons are like booming right now. They're all waking up because we really need them to release all the things to align ourselves again with our soul, with our sacred soul blueprint, because we just need all these updates all the time. Yeah, it's so good to really connect with you guys and connect with the other healers, because it's also sometimes we are all doing our own job to trying to put ourselves out there, right? And yeah, I really have the vision that energy healers are going to change so much also in the medical industry, right? And yeah, wow, I'm so excited about what's going to happen in that area in the next upcoming few years.
I can validate that. I work medical too, so
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
a trauma center for adolescent teenagers, and I've been in the nursing facilities, and in the last 2 years in that Chiron return, taken me back full in the trenches of medical, and then gave me 2 auto collisions, like I needed that. And hit 2 of them, not 1, 2, with me and my son, who's my business partner. We're both healers. I was like, oh boy, we really signed up for a great one. And, to be able to create the neural pathways and be like the guinea pig to go in undercover and just see like brain trauma, brain injury, and see how limited that medical society still is in Western arts to validate. And we're going into the full, we're deemed as permanently injured. It's called a max medical improvement. And my guides, thank goodness, were telling me, just get on the conveyor belt. We got you, just get, and I'm like, get on the conveyor belt. So I've had to go through that. Then they've got this master energy surgery that by law, by legal binding insurance law, we're max medical improvement with all these injuries. And then what the energy surgeons can now do as by evidence. Oh. So we have medical legal documents to validify this is as far as you can go in the best, I'm talking the best. Utah has one of the best. They're known for all the medical science comes out of Utah because of the data, one of the states. And so by their best, and then where they're failing in medical science.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh,
so
wow. Yeah.
unless they're, energy surgeons, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just validate, yes.
Oh, great. Yeah. I wanted to do a little exercise with you guys, if you want to bring also what worked for me really well is to have like the polarity in both of your hands, so you connect with the energy of the dark and the energy of the light in both hands, and really feel the difference between your left and right hand. It doesn't really matter which one is which. So you feel the light and the darkness. I also feel like that the darkness is way more heavier. My right hand goes way more up. And then when you feel you really have these energies in your hands, then you can, point them towards each other like this. And then very slowly you come closer and closer, so that as well as the light as the dark merge together. And so in this exercise, we are also bringing the extreme polarities more closer together, so that they also become more one and become more both ends. Until it's like one ball. And then now make with your hands, with this energy ball, the movement of the never-ending, the 8 that's on its side. I forgot the name of the symbol. That's like the infinity symbol. Until you reach the point in the middle, and you can now let go of it. So whenever you feel you are in a very big polarity manifestation, you hold the one polarity in your one hand, the other polarity in the other hand, and you do this exercise. This brings the polarities back together. So you're also bringing these big roller coaster waves a little bit more balanced. Yeah, I think I think that's basically a little bit what I wanted to share today with you. Yeah. Oh, and I didn't see your comment, Ivo. That's so interesting. I saw this last week when working with a friend of mine, the diamond colored throat chakra. Ah, yeah. Okay, cool. To come back to Christy's story. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Are there any more questions about this topic? Did I explain it well? Did you understand it? Yeah, I feel really passionate about this. That's why I also made some artwork. Like I made my necklace is also really about. This is like a broken heart. Dun, 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 dun. This is like a broken heart that's symbolizing the wounds and the pain. And then when you pull onto it, it's like when you integrate it, it becomes angel wings. So I made this one out of this passion and process and my own process of mine. And I also made this painting that I'm wearing this t-shirt of. I'm going to share this. It's like also like the, thanks Christy. This is here like the scorpion that is like stinging from trauma response to stinging others, stinging himself, is surrounded by like death and bones and, you know, going through all the darkness. And then the scorpion, when the scorpion is like, oh fuck, I'm so done with this life, like all this trauma responses and all these triggers, I wanna heal, I wanna evolve. So then the scorpion transforms into the snake, and the snake symbolizes going through the subconscious and healing your wounds, integrating your wounds, and then and getting all these new beliefs. And then the snake transforms into the eagle, and the eagle is flying and it feels free and has an overview, which is also like, you know, the caterpillar and the butterfly. It's like the caterpillar is walking on the ground and the butterfly is flying, has such a different overview and perspective. And then when this actually, when the eagle says like, well, both ends, I'm the eagle, but also still the scorpion, because it's never ending, right? And it goes through this process like over and over and over and over and over and over again. Then eventually the eagle turns into the phoenix, and the phoenix is like Christ consciousness, Buddha, being enlightened, and you have so much compassion for everyone around you because you've gone through this ego death so many times. And this is the mythology of the Scorpio sign of astrology as well. And I loved it. So I made this painting, and I have a web shop on my website as well, where you can order like shirts and books and bags and all kind of things with these prints as well. So yeah, that's what I made from, you know, my process, because it is, when we shift our perspective and understanding how the darkness is also serving our whole creation, and how we are actually, you know, growing our roots, really, like the more we integrate and heal our wounds, the more roots we get, the less we, you know, we can fall. If we want to fly, the more we can fly. Oh, you're a sun sign Scorpio. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I'm a Sagittarius, but of course we all have Scorpio in our system. And yeah, Scorpio sun signs are the most strong souls, you know, because they go through this. It's like with the sun sign, it's like becoming the phoenix. It's the sun sign it's not what you innately are, it's what you become. So it's like the process of becoming the Scorpio. In this process, it's hard work. It's really hard work, but it's so beautiful. It's really, really the most beautiful and strong souls that choose to have Scorpio as their sun signs. Yeah. Yeah.
My son had a joke with the Harry Potter and the tea leaves. And he told me one day, he goes, so you're here to suffer and you're going to be happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, after the suffering, maybe. But yeah, so when we shift, what I was trying to say, so when we shift our perspective on these wounds and seeing them really as sacred, and so that it gets really easier to embrace and integrate them, we suffer a lot less, because the more we fight to it, the more we're fighting to these beliefs that society gave us, from like, if you don't work, you're a piece of shit, you have to contribute to society or you're worthless, you can't be, you know, sick or going through all these processes. No, you have to work like a slave 5 days a week, and you can only go on vacation once a year because you have to work for us. Like all these beliefs that we have, and how we were trained in school. If we hold on to these beliefs while we go through these ego deaths and dark nights of the ego, man, oh man, I wish I could say that to everyone. That's really my message. Like, you know, these beliefs are not true. And we are nature, and nature goes through these processes, and it gets, you know, the sun goes down and it gets dark every night. And every year we have a winter at most of the places on this planet, right? So it's so part of creation. It's this darkness is so part of creation and co-creating with the light and expanding our consciousness, expanding the universe with the darkness, because we from that darkness we you know, we shine our light onto the darkness, we see it, we integrate it, and from there we evolve and grow, and we expand in love, and that's how the universe expands eternally. How amazing. It's like a poem. Healing work is a poem. It's so beautiful. Amen. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here with me. Yeah. So yeah, so as an energy surgeon, you can so what I offer is single sessions from $234 American dollars to more, because what I found as well is that because money is energy, when people pay me more money, I also get more, like the sessions take longer and I see way more, and it's like, wow. So I do my sessions from $234, and then you can choose a price range that fits you the best. It's also like you just feel intuitively what works the best for you, which is the most aligned price for you. So those are the single sessions. Then I also do like more sessions, including also some constellation and coaching work on the magical child activation, which is something that, like, the magical child goes hand in hand with the wounded child, as I am also very passionate about magical child stories and fairy tales, like Alice in Wonderland, like the Wizard of Oz, like Peter Pan, like all these, like, you know, stories of a child that actually has a wound or wants to escape reality because it's too painful. And then they create like this whole fantasy realm, and then they try to, you know, escape in that fantasy realm. But then in the fantasy realm, the wounds are also coming into a form of monsters. And then because you cannot escape your wounds, the magical child starts helping the wounded child to heal and integrate this wound, so that the magical land can be beautiful again with the monsters and the wounds integrated. So these magical child activations that I do are longer sessions. It's like multiple sessions where we go through your magical child story, because there are so many hidden symbols and wisdom for you in these stories as well. And that's around $999, which is like also on a longer time span, including also energy sessions. And from there, you actually like activate that magical child, activate your king and queen archetype, so that you get also into these higher frequencies and use the light realms, because this is also, oh, totally forgot about this, so important. That whenever we go through like really dark, deep wounds, we can use these light beings like angels or fairies or unicorns or whatever maybe is your like favorite magical guide from your magical child story that you feel such a strong connection with, right? You can use that frequency and that archetype to help you heal those deeper, really deep wounds. So and that's also, we bring the light realm into healing our wounds, so that we don't drown in our shadow and we don't drown in our wounds, because we always have a connection back to that light. And that way we can reach lower layers of our wounds, because we feel we have the power and the safety and the connection to this extremely like powerful guide that you were so fan of when you were young, because that is the highest vibration and the most connection that your wounded child connects with and trusts to help with these really dark, deep wounds. So if you remember, maybe you want to think like, oh, whoa, like did I have a story like that, or maybe it was like a video game, or maybe you had like a book with beautiful pictures and you were like, oh, that picture, like I remember that picture was like so mesmerizing. You did it with Link from Zelda. Oh yeah, you know what? I had like these earrings with the little fairies from Zelda, and just right before this masterclass, one of them fell and broke. Oh, so I was like, oh, I'm using that. I'm going to show you.
But did it give you an extra heart when you broke it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like I'm getting like, so it was like, so this was in a bottle and it came out of the bottle, but it's like the little fairy from Zelda.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I got an extra heart today and I needed it. Yeah, I needed it. I went through some wounds just before the session actually. So yeah, amazing. So connect with that, and it brings you, it helps you with feeling more trust and safety when you go into your shadows, and you will always find your way back. I've also actually, okay, I'm just going to share one more thing, and then I'll wrap it up. But I made this painting for myself when I went through my darkness and shadow as a portal to go also back to the light, because I found that paintings are manifestation portals. So whenever you're like, oh fuck, I have to do something really hard, difficult, or whatever, it works like a vision board. So you can make a painting with your manifestation and put it on your altar or whatever, and that will help you also. If you want to heal a certain trauma, you can draw the trauma. You don't have to be a good drawer, and then you create like a holy space around it to manifest also that you contain a sacred space for it, so that you can actually heal it. Those are all like cool tips and tricks to help with manifesting the healing process without actually really drowning in your shadow. Very important. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you so much for being here. So if there are any more questions, you can share them now, and otherwise we'll wrap it up, and hope to see you soon on the internet or somewhere else. Yay. Have a beautiful day or evening, whether you are in Europe or in America or whatever, where you are when you're watching. Also, I'm going to put this, the replay will be available also in my Facebook group. All right, see you somewhere on the internet. Bye.